When your build is the next Van Halen, that is an awful lot to live up to. But can Jacob Deraps of the band Deraps live up to it? We'll find out today on this edition of CHRIS Akin Presents. It is CHRIS Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And joining me today is a guy that is making a lot of noise for positive reasons, for negative press release reasons, for all kinds of different reasons. He's a phenomenal guitar player, excellent vocalist, and he has a great new release simply called Deraps, and he is the main man of Deraps. He is Jacob Deraps. Jacob, how are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely, dude. Well, man, as I told you when we started, man, I absolutely wanted to hate you. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I get a million press releases a week, and certain things are absolute buzzwords to, okay, it is time to torch this fucking guy thing. And when the press release, the first thing that jumps out is, this is the next Van Halen. That is an absolute sacrilege, you know?
Yeah.
And that being said, it did what it was supposed to do. It made me listen to the record. And then once I listened to the record, I was like, God damn, this is pretty fucking good. You know, I was like, this is really strong, man. So congrats on that, man. But let's get into a little bit about who you are so that people have a clue about you. So maybe give us a hint on who Deraps the band is and how you came to be where we are today.
Okay, so I started playing guitar when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
And I discovered Van Halen about a year after I started playing, and I was just blown away. You know, I've heard music since I was a little kid. I've always been in a very musical environment. My parents are musicians as well, so I've always heard music from the 70s and the 80s, you know, rock music, metal music, pop rock from back then. So all this stuff I've always heard and loved. So Van Halen, I heard a lot of songs through my childhood, and I kind of got to rediscover them by scrolling on my dad's computer at some point with my guitar in my hand. I was scrolling the music library on the computer, and I found all these Van Halen albums, and I was like, wait, I know Van Halen. I've heard this band before and everything. So I started playing these songs, and I just couldn't believe when I got to the first album. That's really what it hit me like a train.
Okay.
There was something about the guitar sound that I've never heard before. The guitar sound was so distinct and organic and raw, and so much aggression in the playing, and so much groove, and the songs were groovy, and you know, you can party, you can dance to these songs. They're great songs, you know. So I discovered the song "I'm the One," and that was it for me. That was it. The bar was, you know, that high, and I had to get that sound. I had to, it was a journey for me after that to try and figure out how to get that sound and get better at playing I'm the One, playing covers. And then eventually, you know, after playing for so long and playing all the time, you know, I was obsessed with the guitar for so long, and
sure.
And so I got better and better. And at some point, you know, I was able to jam on my guitar, and I can play pretty much anything on the neck. So I started jamming and doing these riffs, and you know, whenever I pick up the guitar now, I create songs, I create riffs, and I have a bank, you know, of all these riffs and songs.
Sure.
So I have a bunch of demos, and when I discovered when I met Josh, our drummer, for the first time, it was online. Actually, he reached out to me. He was doing these Van Halen covers as well. So he asked me if I wanted to join him on a cover, like a collaboration.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, let's do it. I saw his videos, and he's a great drummer, so I thought, let's do it. And we did one video, which was a cover of "Girl Gone Bad" by Van Halen on the 1984 album.
Sure.
And that was it. We started doing all these covers after that. We did a bunch, and at some point, I think it was in 2017, I asked him if he wanted to fly from Australia to Quebec here and do some shows with us, for real. We've never played together before in the same room, but you can tell something was going on. I knew he was a great musician, and I knew it would fit, and him too. So he agreed, and I got to book a couple of shows here and there. We played some big shows, actually, the first time. And William, the bass player, he's my longtime friend from high school. So we've always been friends and always been around. And so I asked him if he wanted to join the band on bass. He was a guitar player at the time, and he agreed. So that's how the band started. And then, like I said, I had a bunch of demos and riffs from all the time that I whenever I play. So I started writing with Josh. I sent him some of my demos, and he did some lyrics, and I rearranged some of those demos, and we created some songs as well together from other newer riffs that I had, because there's a couple songs on the album that could go back from when I was like 16 years old.
Okay.
And then we recorded them properly, but they were from old demos from when I was 16. I'm 25 now, so there's songs on this album that was really older stuff, and there's newer stuff as well that we created just recently. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of that band. We can get into the recording process later if you want on another question.
Sure. Yeah. Sure, absolutely. Well, talk a little bit about. I want to talk about the press release just to get it out of the way. I
don't do these emails. I'm not the one behind. I don't even know what you guys are getting. So.
I mean, it says very boldly in the first sentence, the next Van Halen. And I mean, I understand it. I get it. It'll draw attention. And I'm sure you've gotten that attention from people. And I don't know if that's good or bad necessarily. It's good because as an unknown artist, it almost forces people to listen. It's probably bad though, just because with that band especially, and especially with Eddie passing away fairly recently, it's still an open wound for a lot of people, and it causes a lot of people to be like, I ain't listening to that, It
is for me as well. It's the same thing. Van Halen is untouchable, never will be. It's a band apart from every other band. I think it's on another level. So I think I have to agree on that. We're influenced by Van Halen, heavily influenced by Van Halen. I'm not the one writing this stuff. So the new Van Halen,
right.
What can I say? I guess it's, sets the bar really high, and it draws attention. So yeah, I mean, you guys do whatever you want with that. I don't really have anything to say about that, honestly.
Right. No, that makes sense. Well, I mean, if it was me, not that it is, but if it was me, I would probably said follows the spirit of Van Halen, because musically, I mean, obviously, there's no doubt your influence guitar wise from Van Halen. I mean, and if anybody goes and listens to, like, one of the things that I did when I saw the press release was I went back and I looked you up on YouTube, and what I found to be most fun was that even a lot of the covers that you were doing of Van Halen weren't the standards. It wasn't Panama. It wasn't Jump. It wasn't, Running with the Devil. It wasn't Eruption, as much as it was like 5150. Like that, one of probably my favorite Van Halen song ever, guitar wise, is 5150. And I saw you playing that. I was like, all right. At least you're focused on like the more truism of what Eddie Van Halen was doing. That's kind of where I was at.
I'm the biggest Eddie Van Halen fan on the planet, so there's no doubt about that. I play all the guitar stuff. You know, my favorite guitar song is "I'm the One." I think it's the greatest guitar track ever recorded. There's nothing better than that. I mean, the groove, the tone, the playing, the feel. There's just something special about that. But I mean, it's a world of crazy guitar riffs and solos and just amazing guitar playing. Van Halen it's untouchable.
Sure. No, I definitely agree. And at the same time, what I do like about your album is that it's got the spirit, and it's not a knockoff. Like, you don't listen to the songs and say, okay, well, that's just, this Van Halen song. I mean, your guitar playing is going to always probably be compared to that because it's just the way you play.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen to the album. What it is more to me than a Van Halen thing is just a throwback to the time when it was just a little more carefree rock and roll back in the 80s, man. It's just a fun record.
That's exactly what we like to do. That's what we wanted to do. That's what we wanted to capture. And it's not something that we, how would I say that? It's a natural thing. It's an organic thing. It's authentic. It's not something we're trying to do. It's the way we play. I have my amp is cranked to the max, just like in the 70s. We're playing live style of music with very few overdubs.
Sure.
And it's not overproduced. It's very raw and organic, and it feels very real when you listen to it. You can tell there's some things going on there that it's just very organic and alive. On the guitar, the voice, it's not perfect. It makes you feel great, and it sounds real. The guitar sound, the drums, they sound like drums. They don't sound like a machine, like a computer, or like, it's not like super compressed and over polished. It's a very raw and 70s and 80s style record. That's what we wanted to do, because we feel like a lot of bands these days are just way too polished and generic. There's nothing going on there. It's just very square, and there's too much like worked out. What we wanted to do, really capture the real, the true essence of rock and roll, and real authentic music. Finally, again, that's what we want to listen to, and that's what we want to play. So that's what we wanted to do. That's what we did.
Right. And the one thing that I'm taking a guess here, because I haven't seen you play live, but I'm assuming that the way you sound live is pretty close to what we're hearing on the record, because it feels very much like it's just jamming in a rehearsal room type of a deal.
That's exactly what we wanted to do. It's all about capturing the vibe, the energy of the band when we're playing together. That's what it's all about. I think that's what it's all about on all those records. Guns N' Roses, Van Halen. It sounds raw and live. So that's really what we did. And as well, there's a lot of influences on that record. If you listen to the entire thing, I mean, it's not, like you said, it's not a Van Halen knockoff thing. There's a lot of things that have nothing to do with Van Halen, like the song "Live Fast, Die Slow." It's completely different than anything Van Halen ever did. It's a blues rock thing. It's my influence. It's the more Stevie Ray Vaughan side influence. So and there's a lot of stuff. Songs like "On My Mind," which are more pop rock, and I play a lot of jazzy chords in there. So it's just. It's just like classic rock, that's how I like to call it. I compare it to classic rock music because, back in the days, bands like Van Halen and AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, they had a lot of songs that weren't really, a hard rock or heavy metal. There was a lot of jazz in there, a lot of blues in there, a lot of pop in there as well. It's not a certain genre, I would say. It's more of a style of playing and you know, a style of playing and a sound as well, which is consistent throughout the album, and it makes it sound like one thing, you know?
Yeah. No, definitely. And at the same time, there are songs in there that I agree with you for the most part. I agree that 99% of the record is definitely classic rock influenced, but
Exactly.
but more energetic than a lot of classic rock. But then there's a couple of songs, Fuck Off comes to mind, which is an absolute burner. You know, that's an absolute metal track that
Yeah, yeah, we could say that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of it reminds me of maybe Lost Control by Van Halen. You know, the it's a little bit. It started as a shredding thing. You know, I wanted to really like go all in with the guitar. I had this riff. You know, the opening riff. I was
sure.
like, that's pretty badass, that riff, and I wanted to do like a shredding thing. A lot of drums. You know, a lot of riffs, a lot of licks. So that's what this song is all about. You know, just it's a fun song. I like it, and yeah, we could. It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty heavy
Sure.
and fast. So yeah, it could be compared to metal. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Now, you know, you mentioned about the writing the songs. How do you write? Do you write a riff and trade it back and forth and develop the song, or do you kind of come up with the whole song and then send it somewhere, or do you guys get together to record? I mean, how do you put the songs together?
So most of the songs on the album were created from riffs. And I have a bunch of demos, like I said before. So I'm recording a bunch of riffs, you know, and I know certain riffs are going to be okay. This is the chorus part. This is the verse part. This is the bridge, and then I'm doing a solo, and I have everything figured out, but I have no vocals on it.
Right.
So that's how it all starts basically. And then I send some stuff to Josh, and you know, he's good with lyrics, and um, he sends me the demos that he did, and then I rearrange everything into a song. That's how that's how it's created. Most of the songs.
Okay.
There was one, Veins of My Heart. This one was created differently. So I asked Josh if he had like lyrics, and you know, if he had some stuff that he wrote that he can send to me.
Sure.
I can write some songs with it. So he sent me a poem that he did. It was a love thing, a love poem, and I have my guitar in my hands, and I start reading this poem, and everything just comes to, you know, to mind.
Sure.
It all fell in place just very, very naturally and quickly. I was reading it, and I had this riff that came out in my head, and I had the vocal melody, and I knew it was going to start with a vocal line like that because it was all natural. The process was very, very easy. Even though it's kind of hard to come up with a song like that, it was very easy
Sure.
to create. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, you know, that's how we create songs. There's not a certain formula or right way to create songs, and there's not a certain, you know, square and rules that I have to follow.
Right.
I can create anything in any style, and I make it work. That's how it's all about. That's music, you know. That's
Sure.
music. Yeah.
Sure. Now, you know, now for people that are not aware of you yet, one of the things that you've been doing, especially with this release, is you've got quite a few videos that are out there to promote it. And if ever you wanted to see kind of throwback to the old school, that's where it's at, is with your videos, because they just look. It's got that look of we're in a club and we've had at least 6 or 7 beers, and now
Yes.
we're loosened up and ready to go, man. It just looks like you guys have a lot of fun when you're playing shows.
Yeah, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's like it all comes with the Van Halen stuff. You know, it's natural to create party music for us, and it's just, you know, like we see it right there, the
Yeah.
video. It's very old school, and that was Josh who did all of our videos, by the way.
Okay.
Um, he did an incredible job doing all these videos, and you can see he added some 70s style film grain on this video,
Right.
and it looks very legit, and it's just unreal. Nobody does that these days, and I'm just very proud of what we do. I think it's just a lot of fun to finally see some good rock and roll again, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it seems like right now might be the right time to do that too. It does seem like, you know, with the success of, I don't know, Dirty Honey, Greta Van Fleet,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. It seems like that style, this style is in fashion again, which is great because God knows we've had a long period here where rock and roll has been pretty dormant, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And I like what Greta Van Fleet are doing. I think finally, you know, we have a band that sound classic. I think it's the thing that I missed the most in music, in rock and roll music, you know, is the organic sound. You know, drums sound like a drums, guitar sounds like a guitar that's cranked in a Marshall amp, and I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Now, you know, and playing off that a little bit, one of the things that I notice, and I'm sure you've noticed, and I think you actively try not to do this, is I noticed that in today's world, being proficient on your instrument, being a great guitar player, being a great bass player, a great drummer, less and less important than it ever was before. People have kind of settled into, well, I'll play good enough and then I'll fix it with some studio magic, you know, with
Yeah.
filters and auto tune and, you know, all the different things. What is it for you that drives you to not fall into that trap of just play enough and then let some studio guy fix it?
Oh, it's the obsession with guitar. You know, since I was a kid, I fell in love with the instrument right away. You know, and I remember the first evening I picked up the guitar for the first time, and I learned all the basic chords in one night, and I really needed to do that. I just wanted to start playing for real. You know, I was playing the video game Guitar Hero at the time, and I just needed to start playing the instrument, and I fell in love with it. And I've been obsessed with the instrument, and I've been obsessed with trying to sound like Van Halen and try to replicate all these bands that I listened to: Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Yngwie Malmsteen, Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know, all these guys from the 80s, Rat, Whitesnake, all that stuff. And back in the days, they had amazing guitar players in every band. So like,
Sure.
of course the influence is it's all about great guitar playing. So I that's what I love, and that's what I wanted to do. And I just love music. I love being a musician, and I think it's the most important thing is the music and the fun. You know,
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
what it's all about. The music is the number one focus when playing live, when making an album. It's got to be perfect. You know, not perfect, but perfect for me. Like I it's got to be perfect for my standards. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now you have the new release, the self-titled release. Now, what do you do with it? Are you planning to tour? Are you going to have to wait and see what the audience, you know, supports to do a tour? I mean, where are you at with that?
A little bit of both. You know, we're looking forward to hopefully tour in fall after the summer. My manager's looking into it right now. Of course, we're very excited to see the response for the album from the audience. So yeah, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to hear what people have to say about the album. But really, so far, it's been amazing. Like you said, I've had a couple comments about the press release, guys. So I saw a few comments about that. But really, most people, when they hear the album, they get it. They love it. They get it.
Sure.
And I think, yeah, I'm very excited to see what you know most people have to say about that. So we're looking forward to go on tour for sure. You know, in as many places as possible, for as long as possible. You know, that's what we want to do. We want to play music and tour the world, and yeah, wait and see.
Sure, no doubt. And dude, I'm gonna tell you honestly, on my other show, Classic Metal Show, we are notorious for tearing stuff apart. I mean, literally ripping things when we see the press. And we brought your song we brought the press release and we brought the song, and both of us came to the conclusion on the air. We were like, "Yeah, this ain't so bad." You know,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we were both like ready to just dig in, and then it just did. It's I don't know, man. And it's probably not fair because, you know, and I've been doing this for as long as you've been alive, and literally I know better than to believe that the artist wrote the press release, but I don't know what it was. It was just something about the whole Van Halen, the next Van Halen. That's big. That's literally saying I'm the next god, you know.
Oh, exactly. That's exactly it. You know, I agree. It's a little bit too much for me, but I'm not the guy doing that. And
Right.
you know, and it got your attention. So
Yeah, well, it worked. It did work.
yeah. So yeah.
No doubt. Well, dude, I'm gonna ask just the one serious question about Van Halen, just because I'm always curious. Recently, with him passing away, I know you guys that are so influenced by Eddie's work.
Yeah.
When you first heard he died, I guarantee you picked up your guitar. What did you play? What Van Halen song did you pick up and play when you heard he passed away?
Well, the first thing I did when I saw that, you know, I got a text message from my girlfriend's father, and he was asking me, is he heard that Eddie Van Halen passed, and I didn't see it right away, and I saw his message, and I went online and I saw all this crazy,
Right.
all the releases and everything, and well, I didn't pick my guitar at first. No, it was just I felt like, oh my god, like looking back to it, it was like a big part of a huge part of my life had gone away, like a family member, basically. You know,
Right.
Van Halen is such a huge part of my life, my career, my passion. It felt like all this had become part of the past.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Even though all the music that I listened to was already a part of the past, it you know, it just didn't feel the same after Eddie passed.
Yeah.
And as far as picking up the guitar and play, I don't, honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't
Fair
remember.
enough.
I remember blasting a lot of Van Halen though,
Sure.
and it felt weird thinking about that the guy playing guitar was gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know,
Because all these years, and I saw him live too. I saw him live. I saw him in 2012. He was right in front of me, and it was my 16th birthday. My dad was my dad bought tickets for my 16th birthday.
Sure.
And he brought me to the show, and I couldn't believe it, seeing Eddie right there in front on the stage in the same room as me. You know, it felt unreal. So when he passed, it was just so weird, devastating. And yeah, you know, I cried and everything. It was like a family member passed away. It was really, really, really weird.
Yeah, I don't think you were alone in that, man. I think there were millions of people felt the same way, man.
Oh yeah, he's such a huge influence on everyone, and the biggest, the most innovative guitar player of all time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, man. With your record, let's bring it back to the sunny side, I guess. With your record, where should we send people to actually pick up the record and keep up with you and find out tour dates and all that stuff?
Yeah. So for the band news, I would say social media like Facebook. The music you can find on Amazon. You know, the albums are on pre-order on Amazon. You can check your local store as well. I'm sure they're gonna be able to order it. So check out your local music store. So yeah, Amazon, Spotify as well. You know, we're on streaming. We've got CDs, vinyls, streaming, digital as well, iTunes. So all this stuff, it's available everywhere. So yeah, the band, Facebook, YouTube for the videos, derapsofficial.com for all the merch stuff. You know, I've got mugs, I've got t-shirts, I've got hoodies, all kinds of stuff. And I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Very good, man. Well, the album is called Deraps. So is the band. So is the guy. So, Jacob, want to thank you for coming on to CHRIS AKIN Presents.
Thanks to you, man. I appreciate it, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, it was great.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, loved it.